Good evening everyone. Today we have to study about the polynomials, class 10th, that is chapter 2 of mathematics. My dear, first of all we will understand what is a polynomials. Polynomials is an expression which consists of some variable terms and constant terms. So here two terms are there, constant and variable. I would further explain these two terms. Constant terms and variable terms. What are these? Constant, an expression whose value is not changed, never is changed, then that term is known as a constant term. Suppose a 5 is there. 5, let it be in this room or in another classroom, this 5 will remain constant as 5 only. So all the numbers, numerical figures are known as the constant terms, whereas the variables are the algebraic expression. You can see that x, a, b, temperature and so on. I will explain with the temperature. My dear, suppose the temperature in this room it is 30 degrees Celsius, whereas in that room if suppose the AC is on, it is just 17 degrees, whereas if we go outside it is approx 40 degrees Celsius. It means temperature is not constant, it is keep on changing. As the name suggests, variable means a thing which can be varied. It means variable. This is the combination of constant terms and variable terms are known as polynomials. Now we have a chart. Polynomials consist of these three, or it has more also. Monomial, binomial, trinomial, and last one is nothing but polynomial. These all are the parts of polynomial, but besides this also the fourth term, that is known as the polynomial. What is monomial? An expression, and polynomials expression which consists of only one term, that is called monomial. Suppose 5x, this is a single term, that's why it is known as monomial. Binomial, as the name suggests, it has two terms. So we can write 3x plus 2 as binomial. Whereas in the trinomial, it has three terms. Monomials, one term, binomial, two terms, whereas trinomial, three terms. 5x square plus 6xy plus 2. This is three terms, that's why it is a trinomial. Let me revise once more. What is this? This is a term, this is a constant, this is a variable. It is combined with the sign of multiplication, but these terms are not segregated on the basis of multiplication or division. The terms are segregated only on the basis of either plus or minus. Now we have the degree of a polynomial. My dear, degree of the polynomial is the sum of the highest power or only the highest power. I will give the example of this part. 5x square plus 6x plus 5. This is a quadratic equation. So the highest power of the given expression is 2. So the degree of the polynomial will be 2. Whereas if it is 5x square y plus 5xy plus 2. Here two variables are there, x and y. So the sum of both the terms, 2 and the exponent value of y is 1. So the 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3. So the degree of this given equation will be 3, whereas this is 2. Once more, here if the degree is in the negative form, suppose an expression comes like this, 5x raised to the power minus 1 plus 2. If this is a polynomial? No. Or it is in the roots term, under root x, then also it is not a polynomial. On the basis of the degree of the polynomial, it is divided as linear, quadratic, cubic and biquadratic. And further it is there, but in our syllabus we have to only know till quadratic, but I am telling you till cubic and biquadratic. What is the linear polynomial? Is a polynomial whose degree is 1. It means 5x plus 2 is the example of this. Here the exponent value of the given expression is just 1. Where the quadratic? Quadratic have the degree equal to 2. 5x square plus 6x plus 3. This is the quadratic equation in one variable. Cubic polynomial, similarly it can be written as 5x cube plus 3. And by quadratic, 5x raised to power 4 plus 3x cube and so on. Here we are to discuss the graphical representation of the polynomials. I am taking two examples here. Function of x is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. Another one is fx is equal to x minus 3. There are two different types of the given polynomial. First one is the quadratic equation, whereas the second one is the linear one. And the name suggests linear, the graph of this part will become one straight line, whereas the equation of graphical figure of the quadratic equation is always in the form of parabola. Where now how to represent this and how to find out the number of the zeros of any given equation. My dear, fx, here in place of fx, if we assume that this is nothing equal to y, then we have done this part in class 9 to represent this point on the graph y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6, or y is equal to x minus 3. So we can find the value y is equal to x is equal to plus 3. So if we make a chart, if I go for the second part, x is equal to plus 3. Even we take the y value, anything, 1, 2, always the x will be equal to plus 3 and so on. It means we will get a constant straight line which will be parallel to y-axis and it will pass through. This is the graph of y is equal to x minus 3. Now from here we can understand that if this graphical line is crossing x-axis at once, then the number of the zeros, what is the number of the zeros? The point at which the given equation's value become 0. So if this is passing through plus 3, then this is a straight line and this is the representation of a linear equation. Similarly, if we represent any quadratic equation, you can get different types of the figures. It may go like this, it may be like this also. Here also you can see that it is passing through two different x-axis. Here also we have to find out the number of the zeros from the graphical representation of the given polynomials. Let us understand first of all how to find out the number of the zeros of the polynomial. Here I have written number of the zeros is equal to the line or the represented line has passed through x-axis how many times. We have to find out, and I have 3 or 4 examples over here. We will discuss and understand. Maximum questions are from the NCERT textbook. Here the first question, this is the represented line. It is not touching any point of the x-axis. So the number of the zeros of this figure will be equal to 0 because this is not passing through anywhere through the x-axis. In the second question, it is a different shape. It is crossing through the y-axis once, whereas x-axis once also. So total number of cuts at x-axis through the represented graph is just 1. So the number of the zeros of this will be 1. In this figure, we have the represented graph like this, 1, 2 and 3 points. It is cutting at 3 different points, so the number of the zeros will be equal to 3. Whereas in this question, it is crossing through the x-axis at A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It means total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the number of zeros will be equal to the 7. Alpha and beta are the zeros of any given polynomial. We are learning about the quadratic polynomial. So from here we can conclude that there will be two number of the zeros and let them or assume them as alpha and beta. This alpha and beta is nothing a unique or Greek letters we can say we have used here for the zeros of the polynomial. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, whereas alpha into beta is equal to c upon a. This is the formula, but we will not rote learn. We will understand how it have come. Any standard form of the quadratic equation is written as ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So this is the standard form of the quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c, that is equal to 0. Now let alpha and beta be the zeros of quadratic polynomial. Then can we write that the first factor will be equal to x minus alpha, whereas the second factor will be equal to x minus beta. Suppose we multiply them, then finally we will get that the quadratic equation. So here we are multiplying to get our required polynomial. This is x minus alpha into x minus beta. If we multiply them, it will come like this. X square minus beta x minus alpha x plus alpha into beta. This is equal to x square minus x common alpha plus beta. You can write this x here also. Finally this is like this. Now if we compare this part, x square plus alpha plus beta x plus alpha into beta, from where now we can conclude that this alpha plus beta is equal to b. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b, because here it is minus. Now when it is possible, when the a, here the coefficient of x square is 1, so it is only possible for the coefficient x square is equal to 1. From here we can conclude this, the relationship between alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, and alpha into beta is equal to c upon a, to equalize the coefficient of the x square. For the cubic polynomial, it is the standard form of the cubic polynomial x cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. We can find out with the help of taking the three zeros of the cubic polynomial as alpha, beta and gamma. Then we will finally come out to this result: alpha plus beta plus gamma is equal to minus b upon a, that is equal to the sum of the zeros. And the last one is the product of the zero, alpha into beta into gamma is equal to minus d upon a, whereas the one more term is there, alpha into beta plus beta into gamma plus gamma into alpha is equal to c upon a. Now we have one question here, that find out a quadratic equation whose sum of the polynomials, sum of the zeros and the product of the zeros has been given to you. If the sum of the zeros, that is alpha plus beta, is equal to minus 3, and the product of the zero, alpha into beta, that is equal to 2, then we can find out alpha plus beta. What is that? That is equal to minus b upon a, whereas alpha into beta is equal to c upon a. It means in both the cases a is not available, it means a is 1. So our required equation will be equal to x square minus plus 3x plus 2. This is your answer. Thank you. We will have the next video very soon.